What up, what up? It's the Athletic Hockey Show for January 29th, 2026. I am Sean Gentili. I am running the show here with Hailey Salvia. This is a rare occurrence. She is a broadcast professional. I am not. That's fair to say, right? CBC intermission and pregame and postgame analyst Hailey Salvia. I feel like we never talk about that here.
I know.
That's
we
you.
never acknowledge my side gig. And that's fine. Nobody needs to know. No one needs to watch what I rip off the dome on CBC
yeah,
Sports.
right. Yeah,
is nobody's
I'm sure
business,
I'm sure there's no preparation that goes into that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're speaking though in that capacity today more than most days because again, you are women's hockey expert. You are headed to Milano Cortina in like 15 minutes to cover the tournament for the CBC and the Athletic. Today is our women's hockey Olympic preview show. So I'm the captain now. I'm driving the bus, right? I'm just going to serve you up softball questions about the tournament that everyone's actually here to see.
So Canada, question mark? Excellent hosting.
Goalies?
Poulin?
MVP?
So I will say, like, on a CBC level for 1 second, I know if you're like on your couch or whatever, sometimes it can sound kind of like goofy or it looks funny when Ron McLean just kind of points and says, Brock Besser, Elliot. But having actually worked in television, sometimes that's the best setup. And I've like talked to Andy Petrillo about this. Like one of my friends, she's a host, wrote a book.
Wow, you're friends with Andy Petrillo. What's she like
crazy.
In real life? What's Andy like in real life?
She's so mean. It's crazy. Her nickname is Andiva. Yeah. But there's been times where she's like, if you have a point you want to say, and like, she's like, there is no reason for me to take up 15 seconds, 20 seconds of your talk time teeing you up. So I will just be like, Alina Mueller. And Hailey, you take the 30 seconds we have allotted to talk about Alina Mueller. So that's your little, like, how the sausage gets made if you're, like, laughing at Ron McLean, just being like, Brock Besser. That is him being a very kind host and not taking the time himself. He will take that time back when he's, like, doing his, like, funny little history rants.
Yeah, he's talking about the 1978 Grey Cup for some reason.
It's funny. It's funny. It's fine. But that's, like, our little, like, that's Sean. That's going to be Sean's hosting today's Canada gold medal.
Canada
thoughts?
Gold medal. I mean, we do know. Like, it's amazing that these tournaments deliver. That like women's hockey tournaments deliver year after year after year. World tournament or championships after Olympic tournament after Olympic tournament, despite knowing what the final game is going to be. And that's such a testament, I think, to the quality of the U.S. Canada rivalry. But here we are. It's another Olympics where everyone can just fairly write in pen that it's going to be U.S. versus Canada in the gold medal game. It's been that way every year. Who's the favorite here? Is it the U.S.? Because there's plenty of data points over the last little bit to suggest so. But is that how you're feeling? You know, as we're 5 or 6 or 7 days out.
Yeah, I mean, I think the IHF World Rankings and the recent games between U.S. and Canada would suggest that Team USA is the favorite right now. I mean, at the very least, they're the number 1 ranked team in the IHF World Rankings. I think it's fair to say that Team USA is the top team heading into this tournament, but I think calling Canada the underdogs has been a little bit overdone. I saw Emma Malte say this on the Jocks and Jills podcast, so I don't want to take all the credit. It was actually like a really nice peek into the way that the Canadians are looking at this. Of like, we're the Olympic we're the reigning Olympic champions. We won 2 of the world championships in these 4 years. So actually, like, sure, the U.S. won the last Worlds and they beat us at Rivalry, but it's not like we haven't been winning over this last Olympic quad. And I'll remind everyone that Team Canada rewrote the record book in Beijing with one of the, best teams we've ever seen. They just demolished everybody. That gold medal game, the final score ended up looking close, but that gold medal game was Canada end to end. There was never a question of who was going to win in 2022. So I'll just remind people that just because they lost at World Championships and Rivalry Series doesn't mean that Canada is going to be bad. I think the U.S. team is more dynamic. They are faster. They are younger. They can score more goals, which is what makes them the top-ranked team heading into this, right? Like they have Hilary Knight, who's still playing really well. Kendall Coyne-Schofield, who's been the most productive 5-on-5 player in the PWHL the last 2 seasons, having a great year. Kelly Panic is playing excellent hockey right now, and she's someone who can scale the lineup for John Roboleski. Hannah Bilk is healthy. She's back. Caroline Harvey is going to establish herself as one of the best players on the planet at this Olympics. Abby Murphy has been a superstar for years. But I always see, and so I don't mean to diminish these players because I've been watching them. I know there's a lot of people who've been watching them. They know who they are. But the reality is the Olympics provides an opportunity for more eyeballs on the sport. And I think Abby Murphy and Caroline Harvey specifically are going to come out as oh my God, who are these people, to a lot of people who are on their couch who haven't watched women's hockey since the last Olympics. So I just think there's so much young, dynamic talent and great veterans who are still playing well and still productive that make the U.S. team pretty scary. Whereas Canada is a bit more on the veteran experience side. They've got 16 players from the 2022 Olympic team. They have 9 players who've played more than 2 Olympic tournaments. This is an older, slower, less dynamic roster. But I don't necessarily think that that is going to be a bad thing. If they can play to their strengths, I think Canada will be okay. And I think at the end of the day, a gold medal game between the U.S. and Canada, except for 2022 and 2006, most years, which Canada won both those, by the way, most years, a gold medal game between these two nations is overtime. It's a game of inches. It's drama. So I don't really want to make too much of preseason results, essentially, because when it comes down to it, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, let's touch on that a bit though, because it's fair to call these two teams co-favorites. Obviously, even if the edge, you give some kind of edge to the U.S., but there's still one team that took rivalry series cumulatively 24-6, and it was the United States. So how do we square, the reasoned feeling that these two teams that it's going to be tight and it's going to be dramatic and it's going to be as close as it always is, along with the fact that we just saw 5 consecutive games of pretty serious dominance by the United States.
It's 6 consecutive games if we consider
I guess that is true, yeah.
World Championships, right? So Team USA won Worlds in Czechia and they beat everyone. So they beat Canada twice in a row, and then they beat Canada in all 4 rivalry series games. So yeah, they're riding a 6-game win streak against Team Canada, and they beat them, 24-7.
24-7.
It not great. It's not great. I get it. But here's the 2 main reasons why I came out of that was not worried. Number one is Troy Ryan has been very open about the fact that they used rivalry series as a way to test out new players. They also use the last World Championships as a final, let's see how they do. Olympics are a year away. We're in Czechia. We got to know what Daryl Watts can do. We've got to know what Sophie Jakes can do. Those 2 players go in. Canada loses. Those players play well. They're on the Olympic team. We got to see what Jen Gardner can do. They use the World Championships as a final effort to see these players in a truly international best-on-best competition. Didn't win, but they have a bunch of newer young faces on the Olympic team that people have been clamoring for. So that's the one with World Championships.
And were they effective in that? Was that an effective method? What did we learn about the players that they were trying to learn stuff about? What did we draw
they
out
made the
of those
Olympic
games?
team.
Sure.
Daryl Watts went in and played well at World Championships, and now she's on her first Olympic team. Sophie Jakes wasn't great at World Championships. She was fine, but she got her feet wet. She played well at rivalry. She's playing great in the PWHL on the Olympic team. So I think it was an effective way to look at some new faces. And then they carried that over into Rivalry Series in a way of like, they left Brianne Jenner at home for the first 2 games. They didn't play Emerin Smashmeyer or Ann-Renée Desbiens in the first couple games. They were trying out new goalies. They played Chloe Primerano. They brought Katie Tabin, who made the Olympic team. Like, Troy Ryan's been very open about the ways in which he used Rivalry Series as like final exhibitions. Whereas Team USA, like, Casey O'Brien and Gabby Hughes didn't even really practice. Like, players who were on the bubble, like, didn't even get practice ice some days because it was like, you're not on the team, so we're not going to try. And I guess I get that because you're preparing for the Olympics, but they just went about it in different ways. Like, I was in Cleveland. I was like, where's Casey O'Brien?
Yeah.
Like, at the hotel. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So the U.S. Olympic team beat the Canadian trying things out roster.
Right, the Canadian chemistry experiment, right? Like that kind of feels like...
Yeah. Final 2 games, though, like Emerin Smashmeyer and Ann-Renée Desbiens both played in the game that Canada lost 10-4. So that's where, if you're a fan, you're listening to this, you're like, Hailey, shut up. Like, they played their starters and they still got their butts kicked.
Right.
So this is my second point here.
Mm.
You can replay this clip on February 20th if I'm wrong.
Oh my God.
Ann-Renée Desbiens is not letting in 5 goals in a 10-4 beatdown in Milano Cortina. It's not going to happen. She is the best goalie on the planet. That was a blip on the radar for a player who has been historically one of the very best at her position. She has a .954 save percentage in the PWHL. A 1.15 goals against average.
Excuse me.
Number 1, don't even bring up Aerin Frankel right now. Don't even do it because she's beating Aerin Frankel in these metrics. 4-0 at the Olympic Games and has only ever lost 2 gold medal games. Against Aerin Frankel, mind you. But like, this is a player who's been historically clutch and like the best in the world at her position. She is not going to have a stinker like that when it matters most. And that's my rant.
That's completely reasonable. I do want to say...
That's been my soapbox.
I do want to say to people who are just tuning in, who typically are NHL first or NHL only hockey fans here, save percentages in the PWHL are sick. So you hear, like, I'm sure there were people who are like, she had a what now? She had a .954 save percentage, and that is true.
Yeah.
She's at the top of the leaderboard there. She's only behind Abby Levy for Boston. Who only
Abby Levy's played 1 game.
She's only played 1 game. I know. I understand that.
She's the best starting goalie in the PWHL. Right
Ann-Renée Desbiens, .954. Aerin Frankel, .946. Nicole Hensley, .940. Like they're getting great goalie play in the PW.
Like a .915 save percentage is bad.
Is like you're in trouble. Whereas a .915 in the NHL at this point gets you Vezina votes. So we do need to just make sure that everyone's sliders are pushed in the right direction here. But you're saying no problems there, despite whatever happened there. That's understandable. Talk about Aerin Frankel a bit also, though, because she is typically
also
the player.
Sick.
Yep,
very small, very good.
And she's obviously the U.S. starting goaltender, 8 points behind. But behind Desbiens in save percentage, so she's running neck and neck there. Is that enough to give Canada a clear, concerted edge when it comes to goaltending? Because yes,
no.
they're the two best in the world, but like, is there a how meaningful is the gap between them right now?
I wouldn't I think Canada could have the edge because Desbiens has been there, done that. Aerin Frankel's never played in the Olympics before. And that's the wrinkle that I'm very curious to see. We have seen Aerin Frankel stand on her head at World Championships. We've seen her stand on her head in the PWHL. And that's why I'm not willing to say that like Ann-Renée Desbiens has her beat by a mile or she has this crazy edge. But what Ann-Renée Desbiens does have is that 4-0 record at the Olympic Games. Like, she's been there. She's done that. And part of me does wonder, like, is there going to be this sense of like, oh my God, this is the Olympics. I'm freaking out. Frankel's calm, cool, collected. Like, her first ever World Championships as a starter, she won in Brampton. So I think Aerin Frankel is going to be fine. But I do give Canada a bit of an edge. I think at the end of the day, the U.S., like whoever wins, let me put it this way. If Canada wins a gold medal, it's because Ann-Renée Desbiens. Like, I don't think Canada is going to go out and beat offensive records in this tournament. I think if they beat the Americans in a gold medal game, it's because Desbiens stole the game. And Canada could score it's like a 3-2 game, and Desbiens shut the door, which is typically what these games are. If it's like 2-1 or something, like I really just, and I'm not trying to be like cruel. Like I think Team Canada lost some speed, and their offense hasn't quite been there. But if Desbiens can shut the door, like 2 or 3 goals might be enough. So that's the way I see it. But then if you're Canada, you also have to beat Frankel. So I think it's going to be tight. I think all this is going to come down to a tight game. It could also be like the crazy Utica gold medal game where Desbiens and Frankel went into the gold medal match with like sub-1 goals against averages, and then that game was like 6-5 in OT or something. Like I went into being like, this is going to be 1-0 gold medal game, right? And then they scored 1 million goals, and I was like, wow, I'm so stupid. So goaltending is going to be important.
Okay, crazy, let's talk about the Canada forward group though. Have we mentioned Marie-Philip Poulin yet?
Who?
Yeah. Best player on earth, best player in the tournament, certainly the best player on Team Canada. Little bit of an open question though, what that top line is going to look like. You mentioned Daryl Watts earlier. She's a player who seems like she's gotten at least some consideration to being a line mate for Poulin. Obviously, Laura Stacey, who's Poulin's line mate in Montreal and wife, are certainly in the mix. They're incredibly effective together. Shocker there. Poulin has 14 points in 15 P-dub games this season. Stacey's got 8. So they work together well, clearly. What is that first line going to look like? And who do you think are the best bets to stick in a meaningful way on Poulin's wings?
So I've talked to Troy Ryan about this. Like I have literally
congratulations
told Team Canada's head coach, like, yeah, Pooh and Stacey look great together, but like I really like Laura with Turnbull and Clark.
Yeah.
That's like my favorite line ever. They're so effective, just so annoying to play against. And it's just funny. I feel like Troy's just like, okay, thanks for the tip.
Input appreciated. Yes.
Yeah. I'll keep that in mind when we're trying to win an Olympic gold medal, Hailey Salmian. But in saying that, I do think Laura Stacey should be a lock on the top line with Marie-Philip Poulin. I think trying to find that left winger has been a bit of a challenge over this last quad, really. Even heading into the last Olympics, like they didn't have a lock on the wing with Poulin heading into Beijing, and it ended up being Sarah Nurse who set the record for points in a single tournament. But she was someone who got elevated like mid-tournament. It was Emily Clark at first, then Clark had an inconclusive COVID test, and then they were like, let's put Nursey there, and then Sarah broke a record. Like it's very funny to look back on the way that all happened. Like Sarah Nurse was on the 4th line heading into Beijing. So anyways, they've been really trying to find the right left winger for Marie-Philip Poulin really since Melody Daou retired. And I think as long as there's a question mark on the left side, as much as you love Laura Stacey on the 3rd line, I think you have to keep Laura there because she complements Poulin so well. She's a great forechecker. She's an excellent F1. She can dig pucks out of the corner. She can create space for Poulin. She knows where Poulin likes the puck. Poulin knows where Stacey's going to be, and like that's all stuff they've worked on together for club and country over the last 2 years here. So I do think Laura should be there. The left wing position. Daryl Watts should make sense there because she's got a ton of skill, and I didn't double check the stats, but as of last week, only Poulin had more points in the PWHL than Daryl. This is an elite offensive talent, great shot, excellent playmaker. So you see a world in which Daryl, Laura Stacey's getting the puck, Daryl Watts is making the play, and Poulin's finishing it off. We haven't really seen that yet on Team Canada, which is maybe the concern. I think a lot of fans are wondering if Troy Ryan's going to go back to the Montreal Victoire line that worked really well at the last World Championships with Jennifer Gardner on that top line. They were aligned together in Montreal before Gardner went in expansion. I think the fact that Gardner's no longer there probably hurts her chances of being put back on the top line, because at least last year it was like, okay, this is a short-term tournament. We don't have a lot of practice time. They play well together for their club team. Let's put them here now. But like Gardner was second in tournament scoring when playing with Blue. So part of me kind of thinks like Troy just put her back up there. I think it'll be either Watts or Gardner.
Yeah,
or,
that was
like you could try affiliate. Like they have a ton of options.
Is there Watts and Gardner certainly seem like the most sensible picks there, but
put
is
Sarah
there
Nurse back up there?
Yeah.
She's healthy. She's can't stop scoring in the PWHL now that she's back. Like it worked before. She's got a bomb of a shot. So they've got options, but I think you have to just keep Stacey there.
It's going to be interesting. We're certainly going to talk about some big picture stuff as it relates to Canada and US coming up. But before we do that, we're going to talk about the rest of the field that's coming up after the break. All right, we're back. We're talking women's Olympic hockey tournament. Before we get to the rest of the field, we need to make a quick note. It's worth saying, Hailey, that the women's tournament is structured differently than the men's, and this is something you've pointed out in various spots. It's a little funky.
Beef with, yeah.
Yes, right. I seem to recall you bringing that up on a television broadcast recently. Yes. Unlike the men's tournament, which splits teams evenly across groups, everybody knows that. The top 5 countries in women's hockey, according to the IIHF rankings, are all in the same group, and that's Group A. And then the bottom 5 of the other half of the top 10 is in Group B. Each team will play all 4 other countries in their group during the preliminary round, which is how we have the U.S. versus Canada in a prelim round game every single year. Yeah. So with that in mind, Sweden probably the class of Group B. It certainly seems like that's your thinking. Are we still just penciling in Finland and Czechia?
Can I just talk about the group for a second?
Yeah,
can I
sure.
Just talk about that format for a second?
Yeah.
I just think the Women's World Championships is going away from that. They're going into like a more men's like snake format. Like it's going to be more balanced groups by next year. And I think that's going to be so much better for the sport. For like, listen, every time there's an Olympics, we're going to see the crappy column about women's hockey shouldn't be an Olympic sport because Canada, USA just beat up on everyone.
Right.
It's BS every time it happens. It's certainly even more true now because like Czechia almost beat Team USA in the semifinals of last year's World Championships. Like if you're not paying attention and you're still making that column, that's on you. Like if you're not watching, you can't have that opinion because like you just don't know what you're talking about. So anyways, I think the way that the groups are set up is actually starting to now do a disservice to other countries. It's starting to like impact the ways in which they're able to grow. So this rule, or like the way the groups were, was initially put in to like stop Canada and US from beating up on Japan or France or Italy, like the lower ranked teams. It's like, okay, we don't need Japan or France to be beat 15-0 in a preliminary round game.
13-1 in a prelim game.
Yeah, like I get it. But now you have all these countries only playing against each other. How are you going to get better?
Yeah.
How are you ever going to beat Finland or Canada or Team USA if you never get to play against them? Like those are important measuring sticks. Those are important learning opportunities. The Sweden coach was like very upset about this at World Championships a couple of years ago because Sweden specifically is the team.
They're stuck.
It's their own fault. It's the federation's fault for not, investing in the sport. Like they dropped out of the top tier. They're in Group B. This is a team that is young. They're skilled. They're dynamic. They have good goaltending. Like this is a team that realistically should be pushing for a podium at Women's World Championships, at the Olympics. But because they're in Group B, even if you win your group, then like congratulations, you're in the quarterfinals against Finland, which has more medals, like is third in medals behind Canada and USA. Like that's the third best country in women's hockey. Like congrats on getting back up to speed. Now you get to lose in the quarterfinals to the team that's going to win bronze. And yeah, that's on Sweden. Like, you stopped investing in the sport for a while. You dropped out. You've got to make your way back. But how is Sweden supposed to get better and good enough to beat Finland, to beat Czechia, to eventually beat the US again like they did in 2006 if you're just playing against Germany and Denmark and all the other Group B teams all the time? Like, it's that model doesn't make sense anymore. I think it's actually hurting the growth of the game now, and I think that's why we're seeing World Championships go back to the men's format, and I think that was a long time coming, and I'll be really curious to see the ways in which things shake up when that happens.
Is it worth giving
I
up?
needed to get that off my
chest. I know. I should have known that.
Yeah,
we needed to touch on that. Are you willing to give up on the preliminary round game between the U.S. and Canada to accomplish, and we're good with that? I'm just making. I have no problem with it. I like saving the main course for the for the knockout round whenever it happens. All right. So all that said, we know you like Sweden, but are we still penciling in?
It's my dark horse.
Yeah, right. Are we still penciling Finland, Czechia for the bronze medal game? Is that still a fair bet, regardless of your beloved Trey Konar?
Yeah, I think so.
Did I say that right?
I have no idea. I'm not Swedish.
Ask Laz.
We got pronouncers for the Olympic broadcast, by the way, but all of the names are being said by someone like in the native tongue.
It's so complicated.
Instead of like just and whatever, that's me being like ignorant or naive. I'm not like a linguist, but like instead of it being like a Canadian or an American person saying Anyeta Terelova, it's someone from Czechia saying it. So they like it sounds
right
so much different than I can achieve.
This isn't
like, I'm just not going to talk about them, I think.
This isn't Mike Sondheim from the Carolina Hurricanes. Their PR boss sending along pronunciation. So if you're a goofball United, a goofball American, you can say Jesperi Kotkaniemi with some confidence. Yes. These are true expert native tongues dropping some tough
And
ones.
So I feel bad because I'm just like, oh my God, have I been saying it wrong? Is it just like an accent thing? I'm joking when I say I'm not going to say their names. Like, I'm going to listen to them and do better. But I was like, oh my God, I might have been saying these wrong.
Way off.
Because we just get North American. Like, we just get like a written out phonetic
Abby
spelling.
Murphy.
And then you hear, then you hear someone say it.
Alex Carpenter.
Yeah. And now I'm like, oh my God, I've been doing a terrible job. So anyways, Finland, Czechia, yes, I think they're expected to battle for bronze. That's been the last two Women's World Championship bronze medal games. Finland also kind of dropped off for a hot minute. They dropped down to Group B, and this is where Sweden has to suck it up in some ways because Finland got themselves back up into Group A. So Finland has won the last two Women's World Championship bronze medals. Czechia won the two before that. So these are the two teams that have been battling for third place on the podium the last 4 years. Both teams are pretty solid. Like, I think I did a women's hockey player poll, and most of the players picked Czechia to win bronze. So that might be the favorite right now. Czechia has.
Yeah, what gets them there?
They've got first overall pick Kristina Kaltonkova. She's been awesome in her rookie season.
She really has been.
Natalie Malinkova, super skilled on the Montreal Victoire. Teresa Vanisheva brings some like pro skill. Terelova is hurt right now, so that's a question mark for Czech. She didn't play for Seattle last night, so that would actually be something that would not overly worry me, but she is their captain, super steady presence on the blue line. And then they have a freshman from the University of Wisconsin, 19-year-old Adela Sapovalova. I really hope. I'm trying my best. Like, I'm going through my pronunciation guide, I promise. She's going to make her Olympic debut. She's played really well as an underage forward at Women's Worlds, and she's been great for the University of Wisconsin. So Czechia just has this like really nice mix of pro experience, young kids from the NCAA. Whereas Finland, I think, has a bit more well-established pros, players who have been there, done that at this level. Jenny Hirakoski is going to play in her 5th Olympics. Poulin and Knight are getting a lot of that attention for playing in number 5, but Jenny is doing it too. Michelle Karvinen, she's playing in the PWHL this season. She became the highest scoring Finnish player at Women's World Championships. Back in April, she passed Riikka Salainen, who was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame a couple years ago. So Susanna Tapani on the Boston Fleet, she's sick. Petra Nieminen, she's one of the best forwards in the world. She's been playing in the Swedish Women's Hockey League. So to me, I think Finland, I would pick Finland to win bronze. I just think they have a little bit more, and they play a bit more of that like classic hard to play against style, whereas the Czechs are like fast and fun and free, but that doesn't necessarily always do well in a gold medal game. Sometimes the games are won in the trenches, unfortunately, along the walls. And I think Finland's very good at that. So, but I do think both those teams have like a ton of fun young talent and veteran experience. Ronja Savalainen, she's great in the PWHL, super physical. Nelly Latinen is going to feature on that blue line. She's on the Minnesota Gophers. So just a ton of talent on both sides.
There's established PW players at the top, a good amount at the top of both those rosters, which is, as a casual, I think that's helpful. Like it makes me more interested in watching Finland and Czechia maybe now than in the past, because there's a bunch of players I know already. I know that Susanna Tapani is going to be there, and I know Nieminen is not a PW player, but she's she's so good. So I think the fact that, if nothing else, at the top of those rosters are players that we're familiar with, and that gives us something else to watch and something else to track. And maybe Sweden does it. That's what I say. They're my dark horse pick too.
Hilda Svensson, name to watch.
Great.
She's so good. She's been so good in the NCAA.
We're going to take one more break. We're going to come back with some rapid fire predictions about the big picture stuff coming out of the tournament. Stick around. All right, we're back. Before we finish up our discussion about the women's hockey tournament in Milan, we have a request. You folks, you listen to us. We would love to hear from you. We're asking you to fill out a quick survey about you and your podcast habits by going to theathletic.com/survey26. 3 lucky entries will win a $100 Amazon gift card as well. So whether you're a long-term listener or a new one, we want your feedback. Go to theathletic.com/survey26. That is theathletic.com, SURVEY26. The link is also in the episode description. All right, Hailey. We're going to do some rapid fire questions here in segment 3 before we head home. We need your goal prediction. Let's start at the top. Who's winning? Who's winning the big one? That's what we call it, the big one. Who's winning the big game?
I'm gonna be spicy and say Canada.
Homer.
I think everyone's poo-pooing them, and the Americans look great, but I don't know. I'm just going to say Canada. I think the way that they've been talking about, I think they are going to go into this and have a chip on their shoulder. I know this is supposed to be rapid fire, but let me just drop one more thing.
Okay.
And then the rest will be rapid, I swear. I think the 2014 Olympics and also 2022, even 1998, these are great examples of like pre-season or pre-tournament games not actually mattering when it matters most. Canada was the best team on the planet. They lost in 98. I thought Team USA had the better team. Canada struggled to win games in 2002 leading up to that tournament. Then Canada wins gold. 2014, Brianne Jenner told me this recently. She's like, we couldn't even beat like the junior B hockey team we were playing against. Like we lost. We went 0-12. We didn't win a single game that year. They win the 2014 Sochi gold medal. So I think 2026 is giving me 2002, 2014 vibes, so I'm going to go with Canada.
Oh man, I have to go with the Americans. I think Aerin Frankel is going to bridge the gap well enough between herself and Desbiens to kind of take away the Canadian goaltending edge to some degree, and a bunch of young superstars on the American roster. We got Caroline Harvey, we got Layla Edwards. Tough to pick against them, so I'm going to also do the homer pick in the other direction there.
I wasn't being a homer; I'm being a historian.
Unlikely excuse. Who's your MVP pick?
If Canada's winning, I think MVP goes to Desbiens. Like I said, I don't think they're going to score a ton of goals. So if I'm sticking
that's reasonable.
Canada gold, I'm going to say Ann-Renée Desbiens wins MVP. Because it's not unheard of. Florence Schelling won MVP in 2014 when Switzerland won bronze. So goalies can steal it and win that award.
Alex Carpenter's my pick. She's going to keep closing the gap between herself and Poulin. I think at this point she's the best American player on the planet. I think she's going to make her case that she deserves to be pushed even further up into the conversation there. And it's a tough pick. That's what's fun. I wanted to pick Abby Murphy. I just couldn't. I couldn't quite bring myself to do it. But
the problem with Abby Murphy, and this has been a problem for the Patty Kazmaier, is she's gonna run her mouth or do something. She's gonna punch someone, and people are gonna leave her off their ballot.
It's okay.
Justice for Abby Murphy.
She can take the gold.
Patty Kaz.
Yeah, she can accept her gold medal, and that'll be a nice consolation prize. It's fine.
Yeah.
Leading scorer. This is an interesting question for you because you have Desbiens as the MVP.
Which is like kind of also why I want to do that, because sometimes the leading scorer just wins MVP. And this, I've got another soapbox. We have to vote for MVP in the third period. We don't know who's going to win yet. It's always going to overtime. It's my biggest beef. Like, it is such an honor. It is an honor and a privilege to vote for these things as a member of the media who covers women's hockey. But I will forever be the one curmudgeon in the press box with 15 minutes to go in a gold medal game being like, how am I supposed to do this? This is unfair. Because like last year, great example, Poulin's leading the tournament in scoring. Canada's up, or it's tied 0-0. I guess I'll go for Pooh. And then they lose. And then Poulin's up there taking an award that she doesn't want. It's dumb. It sucks. So the leading scorer often wins MVP, and it's really stupid because everyone's in there like, well, it's a tie game. I don't really know what I'm supposed to do.
Call it the Connor McDavid.
Poulin actually. Anyways.
It's fine.
But leading scorer, I'm going to say Hailey Knight.
Interesting. Okay.
It's her fifth and final. I don't mean this in a rude way. Like, respectfully, she cooks against lower competition. So I think she's going to get like a ton of goals in the power play. Their power play's sick. She's going to get a ton of offense. And then she comes up in big moments too. Like I think Hailey Knight is clutch. She's been highly productive at the international level still. So I'm going to go with the U.S. captain in her final games.
I'm going to follow the boring logic and say that Carpenter's going to lead in points as well. I think, that I'm going chalk on that. I know I'm getting out on a limb saying that the number one ranked IIHF team is going to win, and that the best player on that team is going to be MVP and lead the team in points. But what can I say? I'm a courageous.
I do think Abby Murphy could lead the.
Yeah,
part of me wants to say Murphy because she. I think it was her and Heisey who went 1 and 2 at Rivalry series, and those two were sick together on the power play. I think they're going to be, but I think the Olympics is going to be different than Rivalry and World Championship. So I don't know if Murphy's going to be quite as open.
I think it's going to be the same. I think the U.S. is going to win the gold medal game 7-3 or whatever.
There's people who say that. So, anyways. Murphy's tough to track would be a fun pick too. Anyways,
best European player,
Kristina Kaltankova.
Ooh, chalk.
Nobody has more goals than she does in the PWHL this season. Her Cy Young candidacy, 11 goals, 1 assist. I'm really sad she got that assist.
I love
Actually,
that.
she had like 8 goals and no assists at one point. I was like, yes, more, keep going,
More.
yeah. But she has nobody has more goals than she does this season in the P-Dub. It's gonna be her first Olympics. She took some time away from the Czech national team for a while. Finally made her first World Championship team last year and was so good that she went first overall over Casey O'Brien in the PWHL draft, even though Casey O'Brien broke like a ton of Wisconsin records. So I think it's gonna be Culty. I think this is gonna be a huge, huge moment for her.
Be Tapani. I've got Finland as the bronze. Is the bronze winner. Tapani she's one of those players, man. She pops a bit in her games for the Boston Fleet, so I'll go with her. Is that an interesting pick?
I think it is, and I think there's people who would appreciate that pick because I think she's like one of the more truly underrated players in women's hockey. I think that gets thrown around too much, or it's like, and listen, I love Emily Clark, but everyone's like, Emily Clark is so underrated.
Right.
It's like, I mean,
she's a Canadian.
She's a
Canadian.
She's
a Canadian
Canada.
Olympian and a franchise player in the.
Is she underappreciated for all the little things she does away from the puck? Sure, but like, she's the highest paid player in the PWHL right now. With respect,
yeah,
but I do think Susanna.
Right.
I do think
that's a nice sign of appreciation when you make more money than everybody else in the league.
But I do think Susanna Tapani is very underrated because she doesn't like pop as like in a flashy way, I should say. Like she's not toe dragging around people all the time, but she just does everything right. Great skater, so smart, good hands, big shot. She can PK. She's an F1, good offensive player. Also
she's
like a sick ringette player too. So I think that's a great one.
She's got some. When I'm watching her games, I feel similar to the way I feel about Stacy, where she's just such an active player, and you're constantly noticing out there. You mentioned F1, like that's. They're not the same, but I think they're similar enough, to the eye when I'm watching those games. So yeah, I'm picking Finland to win bronze. I think if that comes down, if that comes to pass, it's going to be Tapney's going to have a whole lot to do with it.
Yeah.
Hailey, last word. What do you want to send people out on? Go hockey. Go Milan.
Sports.
Ciao bella.
I think this is going to be such a great display of women's hockey this year. I think the women's hockey tournament gets better every 4 years. That's just like the natural progression of the sport. But I think with the PWHL in existence, I think the hockey and the level of play is just going to be even more raised because this is the first time where like a lot of these players have been training and playing in a best on best competition all year round. So I just think that's going to raise the game. It's going to raise the stakes. And I'm excited to see it, and I'm excited to see the ways in which the sport grows after the Olympics. Like this is usually the time where women's hockey gets all the eyeballs, and sometimes like it used to be where millions of people would watch the women's hockey gold medal game, and then no one would see them for 4 years. And I'm just very excited to see what happens now that like there's going to be 2 million people or 1 million people or whatever the numbers end up being watching this gold medal game, and I can't wait to see how many people go, oh, she plays for Boston down the street. She plays for Toronto.
Yeah, that's fun.
This is a huge opportunity for the PWHL to grab those eyeballs and grow the sustainability and the momentum for the sport, and I'm very excited to see what happens.
And people who listen to our podcast in Canada can watch the TV broadcast of the gold medal game and say, hey, I know her. She's a podcast host.
And they're going to be like, that's Cassie
Quality
Campbell-Pascal.
time with
And
Cassie Campbell-Pascal, yeah.
Like, hey, there's the former captain of Team Canada and that girl who hosts the Athletic Hockey Show. I've never seen her face before. You should watch on YouTube. Just kidding. You don't have to.
It's going to be
just fun. Show up for Cassie and Andy Petrillo. I'm going to be there just being like,
yes,
that's right,
Andy
Cassie.
Petrillo.
Back to you in the studio.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun couple weeks. Thanks for smartening me up on this. I always feel so stupid talking about women's hockey once with you. Ugh.
You shouldn't.
Ugh.
Don't beat yourself up. I think Susanna Tappan is a great pull.
Thank you. Yes, I deserve tons of credit for that. Okay. Bye-bye. Enjoy Italy. See you never.
Ciao.
Ciao, bella. A bellissima. Folks, Prospect Series. That's what's coming up next for the Athletic Hockey Show. New episode on Friday. Guys are looking at the top prospects that could move by the deadline, and they're also comparing Corey and Scott's latest draft rankings, which not much of a prospect guy. They're sometimes I listen, sometimes I don't. But I think this is
a fight.
I hope so. Wheeler versus Pronman. Wheeler's got the edge and reach, but I think Pronman has some simmering rage that he could use to his advantage. So whatever. Hailey's off to Milan. I'll be around in some capacity, and we'll certainly be checking in with Hailey for more insight and analysis and reports from media catering in Milan. It'll be very interesting.
Media catering.
Yes. You have a very foofy job coming up. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Will they have solid gluten-free options? There's only one way to find out. Italy, famous.
I am celiac. I'm going to eat a bowl of pasta. I don't care.
Do it.
I'll report back on that.
See, we're going to talk about Team Canada, Team USA, whatever's going on in the bronze medal competition, and also Hailey's review of pasta that makes her sick in Milan. Okay. Thanks for checking in. We'll talk to you real soon. And thank you, folks, for listening to this episode of the Athletic Hockey Show. Me and Shayna are back next Thursday. Will Hailey be there? Gotta wait and see.
No.
Yeah, you never know. Thanks for listening. Talk to you later.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe and ring the bell to stay informed and catch new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And in the meantime, you can join our Discord community. We'll see you there.